Today's video is a little bit of a challenge. I thought I would get you guys to see if you could tell me which of my two recordings is my studio monitors and which of my two recordings is the Motion X600 from Soundcore, because I don't think you can do it. But before we... Don't skip to the good stuff, come back. Before you go and skip to all the good part, right, we're also going to be investigating whether this thing truly looks like this when you open it up, thanks to my mate from Shaq's Hacks, who has torn this thing to bits, and I'm going to see if Soundcore's marketing material is truly representative of real life. Where are the blue balls? Thanks to Soundcore for sponsoring today's video and for sending me their Motion X600 portable high-fidelity speaker. This is a 50-watt, 6,400 milliamp, high-res, LDAC-capable, waterproof portable speaker with a 12-hour battery life and Sky Channel spatial audio that has to be heard to be believed.
Oh, here we go. High-res audio sticker equals good. Forever.
Listen, I hate buzzwords on packaging just as much as the next man, but high-res audio and LDAC are not buzzwords. High-res audio is a term for audio files with greater than 44.1 kHz sample rate or higher than 16-bit audio bit depth. Most speakers are not capable of this at all, and this is a big deal. LDAC transmits 3 times the amount of data versus an ordinary Bluetooth connection, which means that your files, when they go from this thing to this thing, are almost entirely lossless in quality. This is a big deal. Despite weighing in at a tiny 2.35 kilograms, this is another device that is built like a brick house. The majority of its casing is metal and aluminium, and yet it is just as happy floating in a swimming pool as it is sat on my desk. As I found out the hard way, having thrown it in my bath in the hopes that it would look cool in slow motion.
Oh, you...
It just drenched me, just like it did last time. The battery will give you up to 12 hours of playtime at a quarter volume with the bass up feature turned off. And in testing with the bass up feature turned on, it lasted a full 10 hours. And under the hood... Do the kids still say under the hood? I don't care. Under the hood, it has 2 tweeters, 2 woofers, and 1 full-range Sky driver just underneath this logo. And that driver is responsible for spatial audio. I'm going to let you know exactly what the spatial audio sounds like in a minute. There are 7 lights that run across the top panel.
There are 4 lights!
There are definitely 7. And one of those lights is the spatial audio button. And if you press the spatial audio button, it turns spatial audio on and off. You wouldn't turn this off. It's very sad when it's turned off. So this is quite interesting. If I press this button here, the whole focus comes like inwards. Almost as sad as that time that Darth Vader's dad took his lightsaber off him. Hello, darkness, my old friend. And on the back, it has a passive radiator in the trunk that kicks out an unreasonable amount of bass for something this small. But most importantly, it has Soundcore's 9-band EQ, which as an audio engineer, I have to tell you is the best thing ever, because you really can tune these speakers to perfection, and it's how I managed to get them to sound so close to my studio monitors. But don't take my word for it. DxOMark ranked this the #1 speaker of all the speakers in this price bracket. And we're talking about Bose and Sonos and JBL. I'm not even remotely surprised. Here's your challenge. Derek, my binaural microphone, is about to play you 2 separate recordings. One recording is my studio monitors. They're proper good studio monitors. And the other recording is the Motion X600. Your challenge is to tell me in the comments which you think sounded better, whether it was A or B. You won't know which is which until the end. Hello? Stop getting off on this. It's not ASMR.
Just give me time. I'll be back among the living. I'll be fine. Pretending I'm grown up all the time.
YouTube is a terrifying beastie. Sometimes you get really good stats, and other times your video is in the toilet. Without you guys, I don't get to do this for a living. So if you could do me a huge favor and just subscribe if you haven't already, and ding that bell and give this video a like and all that other good stuff. Seriously, it would mean everything. On with the video. If you picked either of those recordings, you're wrong. It turns out that actually both of those recordings were the Motion X600. How you feel about that? I just made that up. So, A was indeed my studio monitors, B was the Motion X600. But if you have been unsure at any point throughout either that recording or the succeeding dialogue, then what does that tell you? That tells you that this £200 tiny little thing is as good, if not better in some ways, more musical than my studio monitors that are worth an awful lot more money and aren't in any way portable. Not only that, but you have to remember that the stereo image on this thing is all coming from directly in front of Derek. When you're listening to the studio monitors, they're either side of his head, and yet the Soundcore Motion X600 is somehow projecting that audio outwards and making it sound much wider than it really is. It really is a testament to how good that device is if you weren't able to tell the difference. If you're interested in how I tuned this speaker, the EQ settings are on your screen now so that you can copy them if you want to. Enjoy. It's a really weird way to end this segment. I would have liked to have been able to have removed the handle. This speaker is so good, I would like it to just sit on a shelf and be a shelf speaker. If I could take that handle off, this thing would be perfect for mounting in my room. You can actually get two of these things and stereo pair them using TWS Bluetooth, and that would be incredible. I actually think I might buy another one. If you turn the volume up past about 60%, then it starts to get a little bit flubby in the bass, and there is definitely some compression, especially in the mids and the highs. This won't really matter to you unless you're a terribly obnoxious person, because 60% is really loud already. If you're some kind of 16-year-old kid, then it might bother you because, you know, you're trying to impress your girlfriend with your very loud speaker.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you.
LDAC only works on Android 8.0 and above and doesn't work at all on iPhones. This isn't a failing with Soundcore, this is a failing with your iPhone.
What? Lord Vader, destroy Paul Hibbert immediately.
Okay then, pressing the bye-bye button now.
And finally, the battery takes 4.4 hours to fully charge, which is quite a long time compared to some of the market leaders. Also, from a battery perspective, you used to get like a USB port on the back of some of the Soundcore devices that could charge your mobile phone. The USB port on this one doesn't send any charge, which is a bit of a shame because I really liked that feature. This might sound like a long list, but you have to bear in mind a lot of these complaints aren't actually applicable to most people, and they're really tiny things. I mean, it lasts 10 hours. Who cares if it takes 4.4 hours to charge? I'm gonna plug it in on my shelf anyway, because I want it there all the time. I'm not gonna script this end part, I'm gonna do the whole thing on the fly. It's still funny. Stop looking at me like that. So, this speaker, I can't recommend it enough. It's like £200 for one of the best sounding speakers I have ever heard, and it's in a waterproof metal box. I just don't know what else to say about it to convince you to buy it. I'm hoping the recordings alone have been enough to make you go, oh, yeah, this is actually something really important. I haven't heard a speaker this good come through my door. Soundcores seem to knock it out of the park every single time. Whether it's their earbuds or their headphones or their speakers, they really do know what they're doing, and this is my favourite so far. If you're interested in buying one, then as usual, there are links in the description as to where you can pick one up. In the meantime, these incredible people are my patrons from Patreon. And without them, you wouldn't be watching this video. I'd be in a call center. If you want to be one of these incredible people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I will genuinely love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my Twitters and my Instagrams and my TikToks too. Come and hang out there, I can be best friends. See you next time.
Where
Where are the blue balls? It just works. It's a horrible look.